Hello students, welcome back for the class of MBA Semester 1 Management Information System. Today is our lecture number 25, 26 and 27. The topic of our today's discussion is decision making. The primary objective of our our lecture is to understand the concept of decision making, and we are going to discuss this topic today. The major contents of our today's session are decision making, significance of decision making, types of decisions, decision making process. So let us discuss one by one. First of all, we are going to start with the decision making. Many of the times we come across from various alternatives, we have to select the best possible alternatives. That process of selecting the best alternatives from the several alternatives is called as decision making. So, decision making is one of the cognitive process wherever we are using the mindful activity for choosing the best course of action from the several ones, and we will apply some particular criteria so that we can select the best course of action. While arriving any particular decision, okay, we are going to identify what are the possible cause and effect of that decision also, and after identifying this one, the cause and effect, we are going to implement that particular decisions. So particularly in any kind of businesses, okay, doing business is a tough job, and it is quite necessary to analyze the business processes. So what would be the problems that are encountered during the business processes, and how to solve these problems with the help of decision making activities in these several processes, we are going to understand with the help of the decision making activity. Either you are in whichever kind of business, okay, maybe any corporate related activity, in every organization we do try to make the use of this decision making activity. Therefore, decision making is one of the best, choosing the best course of action from the various possible alternatives. Okay. Now, the question arises that how to choose this best course of action, the best course of alternatives. To choose any best course of actions or alternatives, we do try to make the use of several tools, techniques, and other form of procedures or perceptions. So on the basis of procedures whichever that are being derived, okay, under the books or using some particular form of processes, we are going to analyze that particular situation, and depending on whatever form of factual data that are available to us, okay, we are trying to applying some tools and techniques and converting that data into meaningful information, and then finally we are in a position to take the decisions. So decision making is a very integral form of activity of every organization, and all the executives, all the managerial staff, those are primarily working in any organization, they should have to come up with the different situations, and wherever they do try to make some important decisions so that they can solve the problem, or they will anticipate the future probable problems and try to provide the best possible solution to it. Therefore, decision making is a kind of activity wherever we are identifying the several alternatives and choosing the best alternatives, okay, as one of the informed decision. Now the next topic is significance of decision making. Why we are going to involve in a decision making processes, and what is the utility or importance of making decisions. The first and the foremost importance is of use of this decision making activity is to provide the information support and assisting in decision making activity. So managerial staff, those who are working in any kind of organization, okay, they should have to face the different forms of situations, and it is quite necessary to analyze the different types of data, so to solve the different business problems of that would comes under the different businesses processes. So it is quite necessary to understand the nature of data, okay, by means of analysis. Okay, so here we are conducting some effective form of data analysis, as well as synthesizing from them from relevant information. We need to synthesize the relevant information from the huge amount of data, so that we can take some important decisions based on that data. So whatever form of data which are available to us, okay, we are converting into meaningful information, and that meaningful information will provide some sort of information support and assist in effective decision making to the middle level executives as well as higher authorities. The another importance or significance of decision making is what to improve the better human intelligence using technologies. Nowadays we are making the different forms of tools, techniques and technologies also, so as to improve the decision making. So high quality decision making, okay, that is one of the very important and integral part of every firms and organizations. So it is quite necessary to improve some sort of intelligence, okay, and by means of that, okay, we are in a position to take some decisions. That intelligence will be called as the human intelligence, okay. All these different tools, techniques, methodologies as well as technologies, including computing devices, mobile devices, that will support in the decision making activities. But finally the user has to take the decision, okay. User, those who are the managerial staff, those who are involved in any decision making activity, they should have to take the decisions. So it is quite necessary to make them aware on time to time and providing some sort of assistance to them, so that they will increase their intelligence at certain level, so that they can understand the nature of the data, okay, and try to gain some sufficient amount of knowledge with respect to data, and converting that data into meaningful information. By means of that, okay, they will generate their human intelligence using these technologies, and definitely, okay, that improves the quality in making decisions. The another significance would be what reducing the complexities by expressing the interrelationships. Now, when we are doing businesses, there are different processes: sales, marketing, production, finance, and HR related activities that undergoes in the organization. In many organizations, we are following different forms of organization structure apart from line and staff organization. Nowadays, we are using a matrix organization structure, wherever one person are having a multiple bosses. So such kind of organization structure are very complex in nature, and we are providing opportunities over here to the different subordinates, so that they can share the plenty of information to the higher authorities time to time. So we came to know that, okay, businesses are having different forms of complex processes. So it is quite necessary to inform the higher authorities, okay, and following some rules and regulations of the organizations time to time. So what form of complexity that exists in the data, okay, that can be reduced with the help of effective data analytical tools and techniques. Here many data experts and decision makers are primarily working okay, in this organization. So they do study the complexity of the data and simplify that data in a very appropriate way. Apart from that, they are understanding their job responsibilities, okay, they will question the feasibility, code of morals, ethics, and other probable impacts on businesses. So apart from that, they are performing several tasks, okay, which are being associated with the data. They do simplify the monthly analysis, weekly analysis, quarterly analysis of various types of data. Say for example, sales data within the last few months, okay, which can be analyzed very appropriately and compare with that data with some other variables. Say for example, sales and advertisement expenditure. So we can express the nature of interrelationship in between the variables, and depending on that, okay, we are in a position to identify what form of relationship exists in between sales and advertisement expenditure. So in this way we can simplify the relationship in between the data, and that could be very much useful to many of the managerial staff to understand the nature of the data. Avoiding information biasness. Nowadays we are facing a difficulty with respect to the biasness of the data, okay. That biasness in information that would come if any of the person, those who are being belonging to any particular community, those who are involved in the decision making processes, so they are being very keenly associated with their personal values, okay, or that may be related with some particular kind of culture, okay. So while making a decision, okay, no information that could be covered that is related with the personal values or social customs, habits, okay, or biasness, okay, there would not be any kind of biasness in the data, okay. So individual commitments to goal, okay, will be decide and process the success of the decisions, but it would not be affected due to any personal values or any socio-cultural values. So there will be possibility that information biasness could become while processing the data, if any of the person, those who are processing the data, those who are being biased enough. So if suppose your data does not meet the relevance with respect to the objectivity and reliability, okay, as well as rationality of the data, in that case, okay, your decision could be get rejected on the basis of it, that okay, your decision can be affected due to some sort of personal values are being included in during the process of data collection. So it is quite necessary to avoid the information biasness, okay, and we try to make the data collection process more and more systematic as well as scientific, okay. So that will be helpful to bring the objectivity in your informations, and so that we can believe that a particular information with the help of generating the reliability of that information. So we were seeing the various types of characteristics with respect to that information during the quality of MIS that we will discuss earlier. Then the another significance would be for developing the methods that would helpful in decision making activity. We are quite familiar with the decision making, and we are in our day to day activities we are conducting the decision making, but which particular method would be applicable in which situation, okay, that will be the matter of questions. Sometimes we will apply some trial and error method, sometimes we apply some specific methods so as to get the solution to the problem, but in all circumstances thus we can apply some unique methods to the decision making activity, okay. There would not be any unique methods that we can apply for decision making activity. As soon as the number of research are happening around the world and lots of developments are happening in research and development, okay, we need to get acquainted with the new research tools and techniques with the help of which we can identify which particular definite method would be helpful in arriving the decisions. So we need to conduct some sort of analysis, some sort of experiments over here so that we can arrive the best possible decisions. And that's why decision process models need to be developed from time to time with the help of sample data and prototypes. So in many MISs, okay, different sort of tools, techniques, methods are being followed, okay, and some other standard procedures which are being followed as per the need and requirement of the organization while formulating any particular software development projects. uh, this one another significance would be what to predict the post decision implications. It doesn't mean that whatever decision that we would take, it will be the best possible decisions. Okay, as we came to know later, there are lots of developments are happening around us, and that shows the kind of creativity, imagination, and understanding of human behavior. So how much extent the kind of creativity and imagination exists, okay, while implementing the decision, thus your decision would be a unique decision. Okay, so we need to identify whatever decision that would take place, okay, that you took in the organizations. Okay, you need to check the impact of that decision in this stage, that is called as the post decision implications. So whether your decision could be get affected by internal or external factors, tangible or intangible factors, that we are going to assess with the help of predicting the post decision implications. Okay, managers are primarily, they are anticipating the future probable problems. Okay, and they are going to foresight as well as visualize the future probable problems. So their post decision implications, that is quite necessary to understand. Okay, and what kind of business implications would be there on their organization. So it is quite necessary to predict the future probable outcomes. So all such decisions, they are going to solve, okay, with the help of some systematic analysis, with the help of these decision making activities. So it doesn't mean that whatever decision could be takes place, it will be an always a good decision. Okay, so it is quite necessary to go for the post decision implications and check whether on the basis of feedback which are being arising from the customers and the users, whatever decision could be takes place, okay, it will be the best decision making activity. Then another topic is called as types of decisions. That types of decisions that we would already discuss in our first unit. Okay, we talk about strategic decisions, tactical decisions, and operational decisions. Operational decisions are routine in nature. Okay, and primarily it should be taken by the um, operational staff. Mainly those are performing some routine activities. So simple customer care executives, clerical staff, those who are being performing some activity with the help of OAS and TPS in their organizations. Some sort of some difficult form of analysis can be performed. Okay, and some tactical decisions could be taken either by the managerial staff or senior manager staff. Okay, those are belonging to the middle level organizations. Okay, above that there is strategic decisions, mainly policy decisions would be there, and that should be taken by the top management, CEOs, and other board of directors and stakeholders of the company. So we do come across to the different situations that several types of decisions are there. Okay, and all these different executives, okay, from bottom to top, okay, they are involved in the decision making activity. Okay, so while making a decision, we do make the use of different types of data and information. Okay, so at operational level, okay, the activities are so structured and planned, okay, in such a way that, okay, the decision can be taken in a very superior way or fast way as compared to the earlier ones. Okay, and that's why it is called as structured decision making. Here all rules and regulations and procedures are being finalized over here, how to process the data and converting data into meaningful information. Say for example, determining the overtime eligibility, okay, restock inventory, okay, offer credit to the customers. All these things are fixed earlier. Okay, these are all the routine decision making activities which can be finalized. Okay, and such kind of decisions are called as structured decision. We will see all the definitions on the next slide. In the top you will find out that there is a senior management, okay, and senior management, those are having very lesser amount of time to in identifying the huge amount of data which can be provided by the operational staff. So they are taking some policy decisions, okay. Say for example, deciding the entrance or exit from the market, okay, or to approve the capital budget, deciding the long term goals, okay, starting a new manufacturing plant or not. Such kind of decisions are policy decisions, and wherever such decisions are called as unstructured decisions, okay. So in unstructured decision, there is no procedure has been followed, there is no rules and regulations have been followed. The top management, they are using their own creativity tools, they are using some sort of intuition, and depending on some prior experiences they will take some decisions, okay, that the such kind of decisions are called as unstructured decision. Whereas in case of structured decision, we are following some particular rules, regulations, as well as some methods and procedure, okay. Combining the features of structured and unstructured, okay, they will be called as semi structured decision. Mainly such semi structured decision has been taken by the middle level executives. Say for example, designing a marketing or advertising plan, okay, developing a departmental budget, okay, designing the new corporate website or campaign. Such kind of decisions are called as what? Semi structured decision. In case of semi structured decision, we are using the features of structured as well as unstructured decision making activity. To certain extent, okay, the decision would be taken on the basis of suppose say using some procedure, okay, and using some solution methods. So let us see all these definitions one by one. So depending on this figure, we are going to formalize the different decisions, that is called as types of decisions. The first one is called as structured decision. Okay, in this structured decision, lots of planning has been there, okay, with the help of careful analysis of the data, okay, we are going to understand the nature of the problem. So once we understood the nature of the problem, okay, then and then only we are in a position to define, okay, how to solve that particular problem using some careful and organized analysis, using certain procedure, and that procedures are being fixed, okay, and that's why it is called as what? Structured decision, okay. So structured decisions are mostly routine decisions, okay, that should be taken by the operational level executives. Okay, decisions which can be taken objectively, okay, there is very clearly defined methods for solving the problem, okay, these are called as set of rules and regulations, using some techniques which are being followed in structured decision making. In structured decision making, we are using several types of methods and techniques to arrive some particular decisions. Say for example, here we are using operational research technique like linear programming, network analysis, risk analysis, and decision theories to arrive a solution to the problem, okay. So structured decisions, in case of structured decision, okay, we are going to analyze the nature of the problem using some careful analysis, okay, and planning, and then only we will try to arrive a solution to the problem using this structured decision making. The another one is called as unstructured decision making. In case of unstructured decision making, okay, here mainly we are using some different sort of judgment, evaluation, insight, or some sort of intuition, okay, to solve some particular problem. Even sometimes we are using some perception, prior experiences. So depending on that, okay, we are going to solve the problem. So such kind of decision making would be called as unstructured decision making. This decision making normally uses some sort of subjective techniques, okay. there are no formal techniques to arrive the solution to the problem using the unstructured decision making, okay, as compared to structured decision making. In structured decision making, we are using some systematic methodology, whereas in case of unstructured decision making, we are not using any kind of unstructured we are not using any kind of methodology to arrive the solution to the problem, okay. And there is no predetermined and explicit set of rules and procedures are here, because mainly there are different types of problems, okay, which are being associated with the policy matters and which are being connected with the higher management. So we need to make some efforts over here so that we can simplify this unstructured problem into structured ones by means of using some hard and fast criteria. Here the top management executives, they will define the priorities, and they do try to solve the problems very appropriately on the basis of individual judgment, evaluation, insight, and intuition, even some prior experiences and perceptions. So in this way we are going to solve the difficulties of the organization, so to arrive the solution to the problem using this unstructured decision making. In between structured decision making and unstructured decision making, there is called as semi structured decision making, okay. And that semi structured decision making will be helpful to the MIS executives as well as middle level managers, so that they can convert the huge amount of data into relevant informations, okay, by means of combining the features of structured decision making and unstructured decision making. So in semi-structured decision making, okay, we do require some sort of agreement, okay, to use both human judgment as well as solution method to arrive the decision, okay. So here we are using some particular form of methodology to arrive the particular decision making activity. So on the basis of judgment and as well as the some sort of solution method, so it combining both the features of both structured as well as semi as well as unstructured method of decision making, we are going to solve the difficulties of the organization. So that's why it is called as what semi structured decisions, okay. Some parts of decision making processes are called as programmable decision making. So let us see the programmable decision making, wherever a huge amount of planning has been required. First we will see some analytical decisions, okay. Analytical decisions are those decisions which are based on some analysis of information or analysis of data, okay. Information or decision which are based on the after the analysis of data, okay, once we process that data into meaningful information. To convert the data into meaningful information, we do require some several tools and techniques to convert the data into meaningful information, and that should be implemented very systematically as well as scientifically, okay. Such kind of decisions, okay, which are based on the analytics, okay, say for example statistics, operation research, okay, mainly such type of information will be quantitative in nature, okay. So qualitative information cannot be provided with the help of analytical decisions, okay. So these kind of decisions are called as analytical decisions. Another kind of decisions are called as heuristic decisions. This is called as heuristics. Many of the times we come across wherever we are trying to make the decision using the trial and error method. Say for example, suppose there is a fire, okay, to remove the fire or to overcome the problem with respect to fire, okay. There are several possible solutions, okay, to stop the fire, okay. So either we are using fire extinguisher, okay, either we are using sand or water, plenty of things are available, but there will be no correct way of providing a solutions over here in many of the cases. So people are using, or decision makers are using their own common sense depending on their past experiences and general guidelines to solve that particular problem, okay. Such kind of decisions are called as heuristic decisions. In case of heuristic decisions, okay, there will be no a correct answer has been provided on the first time, okay, and in many of the cases, okay, and there will not be guarantee that whatever problem whatever solution that they will suggest, it is a 100% correct solution. So in many cases we are using the different sort of trial and error methods. Such trial and error method decision, okay, are called as heuristic decisions. Then the other another type of decisions are called as program decisions, okay. As far as talking about structure decision and program decisions are somewhat very similar, okay. Decisions which are traditionally made on the basis of certain standard operating procedure or using some well defined methods, okay. So all such kind of tools, techniques, procedure which are being used while making the important decisions, okay, that are called as what, program decisions. So while arriving any particular solution to the problem, okay, here we are working with the effective planning, okay, using some operating procedure and well defined methods, okay, so as to arrive some particular solution to the problem. Say for example, request for granting a leave to the particular employee, customer complaint, how to handle the customer complaint, customer care and information desk related queries, okay. These are the routine activities, okay, which can be even solved at the operational level executives. So it is quite necessary how to process that information further, how to process the leave application further. So in case of absence of leave, by absence of any employee, suppose he is submitting any application, how does that leave application will be processed. So that requires some program decisions, and by means of using the effective rules and regulations which can be get implemented within the organization. These are also called as straightforward decisions, okay, and that's why it is called as the program decisions. So such kind of decisions are being taken very frequently from time to time using some automated response, okay. You are calling to the customer care executives you on your mobile companies, okay, and all these things are called as program decisions. So whatever information could be made available from you through that information desk, that is called as program decision. Using some sort of decision rule would be there. When we are talking about these program decisions, okay, that program decisions are being taken repeatedly over a period of time. So these decisions have been taken several times, okay. Many of the customers are calling to the customers executive, and there is a answering machine that answering machine will answer all the probable questions over there. Even on websites, okay, there is a information desk would be there, or chatbots are available nowadays wherever that will answer all possible queries of the customers. So these decisions will follow some particular kind of guidelines, rules and procedure. For example, selecting the reorder level of the inventory is a program level. So at what amount of time, okay, we need to reorder the inventory within an organization. If suppose the ready stock will be available, there is no need to procure the inventory within an organization. The information system will provide you the alert, and they will provide you, okay, within how much period of time you need to reorder the inventories. In this way we are working with this program decision making activity. The another kind of decision would be called as non-program decisions, okay. These non-program decisions are nothing but the unstructured decision making activity, okay. So many of the topmost executives, okay, they are using these unstructured or non-program decision activities, okay. So decisions which are based on some conscious thinking, information gathering, careful consideration of alternatives are called as non-program decision. In case of non-program decision, okay, there is no appropriate form of data collection and analysis tools which are being conducted, okay, while arriving any particular solution. So how does the decision can be taken, okay. The decision can be taken either on the basis of judgment, intuition, creativity, perception, okay, their own prior experiences and knowledge, or even say suppose say belief, okay. On the basis of that, okay, we are using these non-program decisions. This is called as a logical approach to deal with the extraordinary, unexpected and unique problem. because most of the problems in this case that are being associated with the policy matters, and policy matters require some different form of solving the particular problems, and we do require some systematic and logical analysis. Okay, by means in case of logical analysis we are conducting some mental exercises, lots of discussion and brainstorming over there. In some cases we are also using some heuristics depending on the trial and error method also to arrive any particular decision. Sometimes we are using common sense. Okay, sometimes we are using trial and error method so as to arrive any particular solution to the problem. So such decision making are called as non-program decision. In case of non-program decision, it will be a new decision every time we try to get a new decision. Okay, so either it is a policy matter, suppose the company they want to start some new manufacturing plant, new production line, suppose say, okay, that time it will be a new decision making activity. There will not be any rules to follow, okay, and there is no clear cut procedure to implement that particular decision. These decisions are made on the base of available information. Generally, most of the informations are subjective in nature, okay, to the topmost executives. So in this case, okay, most of the information either supposed to be a vague information, okay, or its information is not possessing some quality parameters. In that case, so even some that non-program decisions could affect the organizations lastly, because it is all the policy matters of the company. These decisions are based on managers this criteria, instinct, perception and judgment. Here the final decision would be the judgment of the decision maker, maybe the manager, okay, or the topmost executives, how much experience he has, okay, or what was his prior experiences, okay, how does that he will be believing in the particular form of information. Depending on several criterias, depending on several parameters, okay, the manager will try to arrive the decision, but lastly it is a manager's this criteria. Okay, it is his or her complete responsibility to implement the decision, okay, depending on his own knowledge base. So these are called as the different sort of decisions. The next topic is decision making processes. In organization, we do try to arrive the decision making activity, and decision making is the choosing the best course of actions from the several alternatives. So here we are using the different methodology under the decision making process. Okay, how to make the decisions. Almost in our day to day activities we are making the use of that decision making processes. Finally you were chosen the admission to the MBA program. Okay, so there were several alternatives that were available to you, but you have chosen the MBA program among the several alternatives. Okay, so there are different kind of steps that are being involved in this decision making process. The first process is called as identification of the purpose of the decision. For what purpose we are going to involve in the decision making activity. The second one is called as information gathering. To arrive the decision we need to gather some information. Principles for judging the alternatives. Here you need to apply some particular methods, okay, so that you can judge what form of decisions that you are going to implement. Next, you need to carry out some discussion or brainstorming and analyze the different choices, the different alternatives in the fourth stage. In the fifth stage, evaluation of the alternatives. Selecting the best alternatives. In the seventh stage, executing the decisions, and in the final stage, evaluating the results. So in this way we are going to solve the whatever kind of business problems by means of using these processes. So let us see one by one uh, the different stages under the decision making process. The first one is called as identification of the purpose of the decision. What is the purpose of making decisions? We are already familiar with the decision making activity. We are here to provide the best possible solution to the problem. So what exactly will be the problem? How the problem can be get resolved? Okay, what parties would could be get benefited or affected from the affected from the problem? Does the problem have the deadline or any particular form of timeline to meet any particular criteria? So there are several possible questions in the mind of the decision maker once we are going to arrive any particular decision. So for what purpose you are going to involve in the decision making activity? Just try to analyze the situations. Why you are here to attend the online classes, to acquire the good education, to improve your managerial skills. There are several possible answers to the questions. Similarly, okay, this is the first process, okay, that you need to answer it yourself. The decision maker need to answer them themselves. The second stage is called as information gathering. Once we know that the purpose of the decision making, okay, then it is quite necessary that how to understand the nature of the problem by means of getting the relevant information about that particular problem. See, the in case of organization, there are different stakeholders: the customer, the dealer, the retailer, distributor, and other stockholders of the company. Okay, and company need to provide the benefits to all. So there will be dozens of factors, okay, dozens of parameters that can be responsible for the decision making activity with respect to any particular problem. So it is quite necessary to understand the nature of the problem, and for which it is necessary to get the relevant information to solve that particular problem. This problem can be get resolved using some either suppose say quality checks, as well as using some check sheets. So you should have to prepare your own information checklist, okay, and what properties that it will possess or not, so as to resolve any particular solution to the problem. So for in the second stage you need to gather lots of information, so with respect to whatever problem that we are going to resolve. The third step is called as principles of judging the alternatives. Now once we know about the problem after getting the lots of information with respect to that particular problem, so we need to generate some baseline criteria to judging the alternatives. Okay, here we are not to solve the particular problem in this stage. Here we need to prepare the list of alternatives, and we need to prepare some criteria, okay, and that criteria would be the best criteria. So here we are going to define the criteria using some organizational goals, using some corporate culture and normal practices which are followed in the industry. So depending on some particular form of standard, we are developing the alternatives. So several list of alternatives that we are developing. Okay, suppose say for example, profit will be one of the major concern for many of the business processes. Okay, companies are being expecting that they need to improve their profit. It doesn't mean that the profit will increase almost in all the months, okay, daily, okay, or weekly. Sometimes there will be an ups and downs in the profit related activities, okay, unless it is an exceptional case, okay, you will find out that the profit will be decreased in certain cases. So why our profit has been decreased, we need to identify the problem with respect to it, and we need to develop some criteria to judge the profit, okay, by means of using understanding the problem and situations. So in the third stage, okay, we need to judge the various alternatives by using some standard procedures and develop the criteria. In the fourth step, okay, we need to carry out the lots of discussions, brainstorming, so that we can analyze the choices. So whatever alternatives that you were identified in the last stage, okay, depending on that you can develop your own choices or alternatives. for which we are going to conduct the brainstorming. That brainstorming sessions are nothing but the discussion sessions that will be carrying out during the boardroom. Okay, so there will be a lots of discussion that has been associated with respect to any particular problem. Okay, so different sort of idea came forward from different executives. Okay, and whatever that will be covered during the process of discussion, either suppose there will be sometimes there will be a moderator that those who can assist in the brainstorming session, and he will list out all the possible alternatives over here. So depending on whatever number of alternatives that can be suggested during the boardroom, during the brainstorming session, okay, we are going to list out these alternatives and try to prioritize these alternatives depending on what will be the causes, okay, probable causes which are being going to affect with these alternatives. This can be analyzed using some standard procedures, as I have been told to you, that is called as cause and effect diagram, or using some Pareto charts. So these are the standard procedures which can be followed in many of the organizations, particularly in production departments. So students those are having some engineering field, they are quite familiar with this cause and effect diagram and Pareto charts. So whatever alternatives that we will prepare, okay, depending on that we are going to suggest the best possible alternatives. So here we should have to prepare the list of all possible solutions or alternatives so as to solve the problem. In this stage, okay, we just have to prepare the various list of alternatives, means choices. The next stage will be called as evaluation of the alternatives. Now whatever list of alternatives which are available to the decision maker, okay, they will judge all these alternatives one by one and identify which one will be the best alternative. So it is quite necessary to evaluate each alternative so as to arrive the best possible solution. Sometimes, okay, we are going to evaluate these alternatives on the basis of using some judgmental methods, or using some prior experiences and other sort of effectiveness of the judgment principles. So which particular alternative will provide the best possible solution, that depends on the decision maker. So try to compare each alternatives, okay, along with its positive and negative outputs. So whatever alternatives which has been suggested in the earlier stages, okay, so whatever form of methodology which has been suggested to judge the alternatives, okay, the we need to select the best possible alternatives, okay, from the various alternatives. So in this stage only we should have to evaluate the various alternatives and try to identify which one will be the best alternative. Finally, in the sixth stage, we need to select the best alternative. Whatever will be the best course of action, okay, after judging from the earlier stage, okay, here that alternative will provide the best possible solution to the best course of actions. In the seventh stage, okay, whatever alternative that has been suggested, okay, that will be the best possible solution. So we are going to implement that particular decision, okay, and what form of sequence of activities are being supposed to be there with respect to that alternatives that are going to implemented using the executing the decisions. So execute your plan, okay, by yourself or with the help of subordinate within your organization whenever we are going to implement that particular decisions. So executing the decision or implementing the decision is one of the integral activity after choosing the best course of actions. Now finally, it doesn't mean that whatever alternative which has been suggested is it will be the best possible alternative or best possible solution to the problem. So it is again further we need to evaluate the result. So whatever results has been encountered, okay, with the help of chosen alternatives, okay, that need to be evaluated on the basis of outcome of the decision using feedback. So either we should have to conduct the feedback analysis, or feedback analysis from the customers, the stakeholders, the user of the company. So we need to compare the results, okay, and identify are there any flaws or problems in our decision making activities. So are we going in a wrong way, or are we are on the right path or not? So that could be get suggested, okay, appropriately in future decision making activities. It doesn't mean that whatever decision has been suggested it will be 100% correct decision and there is no possibility of correction in future. All decisions need to be improved in future, okay, and it is one of the best strategy to improve the decision making activity. So this is one of the best practices which can be followed to improve the decision making activity of all the managerial staff. Simultaneously you can also tries to get benefited yourself, particularly by means of solving the different case studies. So in this way we are trying to implement the decision making processes in the organization, particularly in MIS, so as to solve the business problems. So that's all for our today's session. Thank you very much.